It's time to sit back and check out the RCWR show with Lee Sanders. Get fun, in-depth coverage and analysis from the latest in professional wrestling in AEW, WWE, NWA, Impact Wrestling, or the world of entertainment. From hit TV shows to your favorite sports like the NBA or NFL. All things music, movies, and beyond, while trying to make sense of this crazy world we live in. All while keeping it honest, insightful, and interactive since 2011. And now your host, live from the nation's capital of Washington, D.C., Lee Sanders.
Woo, Lord have mercy. I don't know how I got energy at 1 a.m. because it's no longer the 5th. You see, we on the 6th now. It's no longer the 5th. We on the 6th. You hear what I'm talking about? What's up, my pretty babies? Lee Sanders with you guys. It is the yearly tradition. We have done this for consecutive years now. I want to say we've almost done this for, if not 10 consecutive years, we're definitely close to it, covering Wrestlemania weekend festivities as everything begins with the WWE Hall of Fame ceremony. This was the class of 2024 ceremony. For those of you that happen to be still wide awake, maybe you checked out the Hall of Fame ceremony and want to share your thoughts, or maybe you checked it out for on demand, want to share your thoughts, or maybe you didn't watch it and you just wanted to know, hey, what's going on in the wrestling community? What did some of the people have to say, how they feel about the Hall of Fame ceremony? Well, you're definitely in the right place. Welcome one, welcome all. Now, I do have a poll up for those of you that saw tonight's ceremony. Sound off. It's exclusively on X, formerly known as Twitter, at the RCWR show. Let me know what you thought about the ceremony. You got some nice options. I did my best to try to be a little bit playful with it and everything, but your choices for this go round is thumbs up, thumbs down, what the hell Thunderbolt say, and way too damn long. So you guys can sound off, let your voices be heard. Look, there was early on some questionable, oh wow, wonder why they're going in that respected direction. For example, when it came to them kicking off the ceremony with Paul Heyman, a lot of us, as soon as we had first heard the announcement, Paul Heyman was going to be inducted, a lot of us were going, okay, well, then it's pretty safe to say he's going to be the main event. He's going to be the one that sends everybody home, right? And then surely as the weeks progressed and then we saw how the rest of the Hall of Fame class was shaping up, we're going more and more, yeah, it looks like he's going to be the main event. And WWE flipped the script on us here, because normally history has shown that whoever the marquee name is, the main attraction, they close out the show. Well, no, WWE threw that out the book and they said, Heyman, main eventer, you're actually opening up the ceremony. And it left a lot of us going, wait a minute, what's going on here? Now, we weren't upset, at least those I had saw in the community, you know, social media and everything. People weren't upset. They were just puzzled and like going, hey, why is it happening in this order? Why isn't he closing out the show? Now that we've seen how everything has played out with the ceremony, it made a hell of a lot of freaking sense to have Paul Heyman open up the ceremony. It made a ton of sense, especially from the standpoint of you want to grab the viewer by the balls. You want to grab them by the throat and just, ooh, and you just are left with that nice adrenaline rush afterwards. You're going, man, that was such a damn good speech. Man, I'm so fired up. I can't wait to see everything else that's going to be happening on this Hall of Fame show. Speaking of which, don't even ask me how I was able to pull it off, but while the Hall of Fame ceremony was underway, I was over on the 401 Mania website providing live Rampage coverage. We had a little bit of a low turnout considering the Hall of Fame ceremony was on. We had the usual suspects, but it was much lower than, almost to the point it just kind of made me go, man, why would AEW even... I can't wait to see what's going to happen with the ratings for that show and to see whether or not the Hall of Fame ceremony potentially had some type of an impact on that respected show and everything. But yeah, we are about maybe less than 6 minutes removed from the Hall of Fame ceremony wrapping up here on the East Coast. It's almost 1:15 in the morning. And when the Hall of Fame ceremony initially came on, we've seen the history / pattern by now with the Hall of Fame ceremony. First 30 minutes, they pretty much are doing a red carpet type of deal. They're conducting little interviews with WWE superstars, which was really cool because CM Punk was one of the first to be interviewed. And you can actually see the image on the social media platform on X at the RCWR show. But you see CM Punk being interviewed. And the next thing you know, just out of nowhere, Keith Lee and you're going, wait, did Keith Lee just interview bombed CM Punk there from behind? Like, what the hell? It was a funny little moment right there. I don't even think Keith Lee realized what was going down, but it was nice seeing him because if you've been checking out AEW, sporadically he's been appearing on television. We saw Charlotte Flair. She is looking oh so fine. If you're following her on social media, you're well aware of what's been going on with her and her rehab process. It's coming along and everything. I think she's going to be back a lot sooner rather than later. If you want me to put a more accurate timeline, what kind of vibe I'm getting, the impressions that I'm getting, based off what I've seen of her postings on social media, working out and all that, I wouldn't be surprised if she came back in the next 2 to 3 months. But she looked totally awesome tonight. So it was great seeing all of that. So that took up about, I would say 20, maybe 25 minutes at most, what they were doing there with the red carpet, if you will. That's their version of the red carpet before they actually go about the ceremony. Paul Heyman, look, when it's all said and done, and we're not going to go over the nitty gritty, and then he said this, and then she said that. We're not going to do it like that. One, because it's so damn late. Two, it's really one of those deals at this point where I would say to you straight up, as far as this Hall of Fame ceremony goes, should you sit down and watch it in its entirety? This is actually one where I would say, no, you're actually good not sitting down and watching it in its entirety. Instead, go out of your way to check out Paul Heyman for sure and some of the other stuff that I'm getting ready to mention to you. But Paul Heyman, as far as best not promo, I hate to say promo, even though it was in part promo, but as far as best speech of the night, I think hands down, unanimously, I'd be shocked to see otherwise, but safe to say unanimously, Paul Heyman, that was the best one. Who was the worst one? Stick around. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. But I greatly appreciated Paul Heyman coming out there. And really what was most surprising, I'll tell you what was most surprising for me personally out of his speech. Giving the love there to Triple H, Paul Levesque. I did not see that coming. I don't think anybody had that on their bingo card tonight. And that just really said to me how much love, admiration, and respect, most importantly, respect, that he has for Triple H, Paul Levesque. And without even mentioning, and that's what makes Paul Heyman so damn good, he is such a wordsmith. You know what I mean when I say wordsmith, right? I don't need to break that down. but he is such a damn good wordsmith that in an instance where, this is how good he is. In an instance where, okay, we know the most taboo thing that could be said during the Hall of Fame ceremony is mentioning two words, Vince McMahon. All right, that's going to stir up some. And for Paul Heyman, without even mentioning that name, was able to relay his message to the people in the arena and to us at home. And I love the way he spun it without mentioning the name and linking it to Triple H and saying basically, look, at a time when the company was going through a difficult transition and it really needed strong leadership, this man pretty much came, seized the reins, and hey, nothing but big things have been happening ever since. And proclaiming himself to be a Paul Levesque guy. He literally called himself, word for word, a Paul Levesque guy. I loved it. I did not see that coming. If anybody saw that coming, kudos to you. But honestly, that took me by surprise. You could tell how much it meant to Triple H. You could, and then the fans getting in on that for the first time ever, hearing a Paul Levesque chant. I don't think we've ever heard a Paul Levesque chant. I'm sure that gave him a nice pop. I know Sami Zayn was behind Triple H and Stephanie because they showed the camera shot, and he kind of looked like he leaned over to Triple H and say, hey, that was a first time, huh? Oh, that was a nice, cool, touching moment. You know what was also really cool? The little things, right? It's the little things. Stephanie McMahon was in attendance. I miss Stephanie. I know that her name is involved in a whole lot of dark stuff right now, and whether or not it's true or it's not true, only time will tell, boys and girls. But for this night, it was just nice seeing her, because I know that there was a lot of us that appreciated the work that she was doing in the company while Vince McMahon was away and everything, and it pretty much was just Stephanie and Triple H, Nick Khan running the show. Seemed like everything was off on all cylinders, on a good note and everything. But she looked good, she still very recognizable, still got that little cuteness to her and everything. Well, not little, but just cuteness in general. I've always had a soft spot for Stephanie, so you guys got to forgive me if I'm being a little bit sentimental, but it was nice seeing her and everything. Nice touch. But Paul Heyman, again, the little things. Paul Heyman coming out, giving dabs there to Bully Ray, hugging Tommy Dreamer. Who else was there? I know Bully Ray, Devon Dudley. Devon Dudley was there. I'm trying to think who else was there. I know I saw Al Snow, even though he didn't get an embrace. Kind of hard to get to Al Snow because Al Snow was kind of a little bit further down the road there. I feel like there's one other ECW name, Rob Van Dam and his wife, or longtime girlfriend. They were in the house. That's the other name that I was thinking of. I know I saw JBL, Joe Briscoe. Whole lot of legends were there in the house and everything. I felt like a little kid when I saw Paul Heyman bust out that box of props, and he pulled out the leather jacket, the cell phone, and the ECW hat. Oh, and let's not forget the trademark headset, because what Paul Heyman is not complete without that headset. Way to take me down memory lane there. I loved it. Good stuff. Paul Heyman and his speech. I like the way his speech was designed. First of all, Roman Reigns set that up perfectly. I personally felt he didn't get emotional. But he did. Did he not get emotional? Some people will kind of debate that. But I know for me personally, one thing that was very accurate when Roman Reigns was setting it up there for Paul Heyman was, hey, without Paul Heyman, rest without a shadow of doubt, know this, there would be no tribal chief. And Roman Reigns took it a step further and basically said,
I can't remember word for word. I wish I would have been taking notes, but sadly, there was no way I could because I was multitasking, switch tasking, and all that at the same time. So I'm paraphrasing here, so forgive me. But Roman Reigns said something along the lines of, rest assured that the day that Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns is no more, you're pretty much not going to see the tribal chief. Now, some people could have interpreted that as, oh, okay, so basically that's it for Roman Reigns. He's going to retire. No. The way I interpreted that was, no, the day that Paul Heyman, Roman Reigns are no more, that is it for tribal chief. Like, that's it. Which then begs the question of, okay, so what will happen with Roman Reigns in the future then, right? Especially if you saw the Roman Reigns documentary, and Roman Reigns is essentially saying, hey, look, of course he's talking in character, but he's pretty much saying, look, I lose this championship, I promise you it's the last time you're going to see me ever again. So, puts a lot of emphasis and curiosity going into WrestleMania weekend, y'all. Like, without a doubt, it definitely does put more hype, more intrigue on WrestleMania. You guys are just now tuning in. Lee Sanders here from the RCWR show, and we are talking about the WWE Hall of Fame ceremony. My key thoughts, overall takeaways of it. Paul Heyman, though, knocking it out of the park. It went down exactly how I thought it was going to go down. I did not expect for vintage Paul Heyman, ECW Paul Heyman, to resurface, though, with his F-bomb profanity-laced promo. I mean, that was good stuff. From the moment Paul Heyman got up to the podium, hugged Roman Reigns, looked at that microphone, took his time, processed it, and then basically said, you right, I deserve it. It was like, oh, snap. We're getting this guy. Okay, this is going to be fun. Seriously. I loved it. My favorite time of the year, besides the Hall of Fame ceremony, is shortly after WrestleMania is all said and done. We usually get the opportunity to own WrestleMania on DVD, and the Hall of Fame ceremony is part of it. Well, WWE is no longer producing DVDs, so it kind of sucks because I would love to have the Hall of Fame ceremony just so I can go back again and again and just rewatch Paul Heyman's speech there, because it was good. I love the fact that he went down memory lane, letting the wrestling fans know, hey, Stone Cold had his first beer in ECW just down the street. Rob Van Dam down the street. Hey, they are giving you a little bit of the revisionist history there, putting a nice, cool execution of a spin on it. Good stuff. I loved it. I loved him giving a nod there to his kids. Got a little emotional there when he was talking about how much he wished his parents were there to see him get inducted, as well as the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. But overall, fantastic promo. Fantastic promo / speech. We got a little bit of a taste of the man behind the character, but also a very strong reminder that even though Paul Heyman might be getting up there in age, he is still very good. He's still on top of his game. And, it's so amazing when you really stop and think about it. And it didn't really dawn on me until he said it in his speech, which was, hey, I've been through this. I went through that. I was fired from this position. I was fired from this company. And then I got taken away from this. And I was demoted from this position. And like, he just keeps coming back, right? And that's amazing. That's a testament to a lot of things, not just him as far as a character, but just that brilliant mind of his and what all he is able to do because he truly is, on top of being a wordsmith in his own respected right, he is a creative genius as well. So as far as high marks of the night, best speech of the night, Paul Heyman, without a doubt. I wish this was the part where I say, well, that's the show. Thanks for tuning in, but we have a couple more to go, but I'm not going to be as lengthy with the others, and it's kind of for very good reason, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. It's just, it was short, sweet, simple, but then we had a what the hell in between all of that. So from there, my memory serves right, the next person that was inducted was Bull Nakano. And she was given a proper setup there, proper introduction by Alundra Blaze Medusa. First of all, Medusa, and I've listened to a few of her podcasts. I've seen some of the stuff that she would stream on Facebook, mainly. I don't know if she's still doing it to this day, but I mention all this to say this. I have already a good sense of how Medusa normally talks, when she's trying to prepare for something and all that. And it's safe to say that Medusa was reading off of a teleprompter. If she was not reading off of a teleprompter, and everything that she said about Bull Nakano actually was written by her, it came straight from the heart, you could have fooled me. But I just felt that her introduction, it was so manufactured. You understand what I'm saying? It felt so forced. It felt so robotic. It felt so programmed. I really wasn't a fan of that one. So as far as oddball inductees setting it up, right? Or inductors setting it up, that one for me was the most, it didn't feel truly genuine in my book. I know that may ruffle a couple of people's feathers, but I'm just going with the honesty here for you guys. But she set it up, short, brief, to the point. Bull Nakano coming out. Bull Nakano looks fantastic for 56 years of age. She looks fantastic. I don't know if you guys had been around social media going into WrestleMania weekend. By the way, shout out to everybody that's doing their thing at WWE World. You guys look, you guys make a brother want to go to Philadelphia so bad. Seriously, you make me want to go so bad, even if it's just to look at the arena and just interact with a few people that's actually going. Like, you guys make me want to do that so bad. I had the chance to buy tickets and all that, but I've got 3 dogs. One of them is really up there in age. She's past 100. As far as dog years go, she's in real time, she's past 100, and she's slowly, we're having those conversations, not to give you guys a Debbie Downer, so, but, she needs medicine and all that, so, it's kind of one of those, this would be kind of bad, like, who's going to take care of her and the rest of the dogs, right, so, I'm so mad, really, otherwise, I would be there right now. I would definitely be out there in Philly right now, eating the nicest, fattest, greasiest cheesesteak that I can find in Philly, from the best place in Philly, no doubt. But Bull Nakano, bless her heart, she looks good. I was mentioning, I don't know if you guys were on social media, because it ties back to Bull Nakano. Man, this girl just got off of a damn airplane. Kind of looked like maybe she might have been at an airport, but she was bombarded by fans that you can see the photos online for yourselves. I think there's even a video or two floating around. But you got these fans that just no, they're not even fans. Let's call them from what they are. They're really vendors that bombard her with all this stuff that they want for her to autograph. And it's like, yeah, here's the people that decided they're not going to go to WWE World and all that other stuff. Instead, they're just going to hang around the airports, the gyms, the hotels, and they pretty much are gonna operate that way. Bless her heart for taking the time out to sign those things, because I would imagine anybody else would have been like, yeah, no, you can miss me with that. She kept her speech short and sweet, but even though her English was very broken, just the fact that she took the time to speak in English, to speak in a language that's not her first language. First of all, mad respect. And then, second of all, mad respect from the standpoint of you could feel her emotion as far as how much of an honor and a privilege it is that she's being inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame, to the point she said, look, if there's such a thing as reincarnation and I had to live life all over again, I'd love to still be a wrestler. I would still be Bull Nakano, and hell, I'd do even more in the WWE. So it was really nice. She was coming from a really good place, and you really felt that the crowd, the Philly crowd, other than with Paul Heyman and the U.S. Express, The Rock, we'll talk a lot more about some of those things coming up. Bull Nakano, they were very disrespectful, because even though you had that language barrier, I won't even say issue. Was her accent thick? Yes. As a result, you had to strain your ears a little bit more to understand what she's saying. But that Philly crowd was so disrespectful to her. I wasn't a fan of that whatsoever. You could hear a little bit of heckling that was going on and some other stuff, and I wasn't a fan of that whatsoever. Here she is pouring her heart out into the little words that she is putting out there, and you can literally read her face that this is pretty big and emotional for her. And we got the fans pretty much hijacking it, trying to make it be about themselves. It was just wasn't a fan of that whatsoever. But she kept it short, sweet, and simple. From there, I believe the U.S. Express was the next inductees there. Yeah, U.S. Express were the ones to go in next. Of course, I'm talking about Barry Windham, Mike Rotunda. I was telling my wife, because this is where she came in and she pretty much was watching the ceremony with me here. We both were talking about it. It's like, hey, isn't it kind of cool that, they get inducted? And she's like, yeah, did you see that cool video where Triple H called them up? I say, yeah, that was a really cool video. And of course, since then, they've done an interview where they addressed Bray Wyatt and going into the WWE Hall of Fame. And they say, yeah, to go in right now, it's too soon. We're down with it happening in the near future, though. Right? Like, it hasn't even been a year yet since the man has suddenly passed away and everything. So, this was an emotional moment right here, I would have to say. I know for some of us that was looking at this, we were hoping that maybe there'd be a little bit of comedic relief that would come from Mike Rotunda, because remember, he used to be IRS, and it's April, the beginning of April, and we know tax season is officially here. You got to meet the deadline, right? But we didn't get that comedic relief. You could tell the moment that the two of them went up to that podium that they were still hurting. No matter how many months it's been, for those keeping track, almost 8 months, they're still hurting, particularly Mike. I mean, you can just look at his face, see the weariness, probably sleepless nights that the man has had, whatever type of trauma / depression. I mean, it was pretty much written all over his face. The face of a person that's still grieving, right? And rightfully so, and everything. But, we were talking about and saying, hey, we got the video that was put out by Triple H letting them know they're going to be inducted. Then you follow it up a couple of weeks later by having the Bray Wyatt documentary come out, which, by the way, if you guys have not had an opportunity to check out that documentary, you really owe it to yourselves when you get a free moment. It's definitely a watch. You really walk away just going, what a creative genius Bray Wyatt was. A beautiful, chaotic mind that guy had. You almost walk away from it just going, man, he's kind of like a Van Gogh, if you will. And if you know the story of Van Gogh, you can see some similarities there in Bray Wyatt there and everything. But I like the way these two were bouncing off of each other, Barry and Mike. I like the way they were bouncing off of each other because Mish, shout out to my brother in arms, Mish from Wrestling Soup. He said it best. It was like two guys at a campfire. I'm like, yeah, all you need is some fish that you just got from out the pond or whatever, lake, whatever, right? Crack open some good beer and, smoke a bud or two, right? And, right, I mean, it was really, really nice, loose, laid back. I could almost see a podcast with these two guys. I mean, that's how, as far as the chemistry goes, just the overall flow, the aura they were given, very laid back, very chill. I loved it. I loved it. But then the moment where, Mike started to get really choked up, almost kind of losing it, saying he wishes that, his son was here, Bray, wishes that Bray was there because he knows that Bray would have looked at them being inducted as a really cool, awesome moment, and the kid in him would have just marked out and everything. And for those of you that saw the documentary, yeah, without a doubt, he would totally mark out and everything. So they did a little cell phone, turned the flashlight on as they led the crowd. It's a nice, touching, emotional moment there, real badass moment. That's the good felt. That's for the heart. I would say what Paul Heyman gave us was for the mind. I would say what U.S. Express gave us was for the heart. That's a nice way of looking at it. From there, I believe our next inductee, was it Muhammad Ali? I'm just trying to think if it was. I'm pretty sure it was Muhammad Ali. Yes, it's coming back to me. Muhammad Ali. This was weird. It started off good, but then it went off the rails. All right, so first of all, man. So first of all, kudos to WWE for educating the millions and the millions, right? Especially that Philly crowd. Kudos to them educating them on Muhammad Ali, his history with boxing and how he ties into wrestling. Really, if you don't know anything about Muhammad Ali and you don't know about Muhammad Ali and his involvement in wrestling, if what they presented does not entice you to go online, see what you can find on your own and just go down a nice little rabbit hole. I don't know what will, but they did a really good job. The $1 million question that myself and a few others had was, okay, so who's going to be inducting, or rather, who's going to be accepting the induction on Muhammad Ali's behalf? And many of us were under the impression that it was going to be Layla, Muhammad Ali's daughter. I took it a step further. I've talked about this before, off and on the show and on social media, but I thought it was going to be Layla because Layla already has that television rapport. She's been involved on a few TV shows. I know that at one point she had co-hosted a new version, I believe, of American Gladiators with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. So you got that connection there. I thought she was going to be the one accepting on the behalf, cutting a little speech or whatever. That did not happen. Instead, it was Muhammad Ali's widow. Hey, still good. I thought that her speech, I thought she hit it out of the park. Where things went awkward, though, is it turns into what is supposed to be about Muhammad Ali turns into The Rock. And we get this story told by Mrs. Ali about how back in 1998, basically when The Rock was running around with the Nation of Domination and he was calling himself the People's Champion, there was one night where the Ali family were there in attendance, and afterwards, you know, he went up to them, let them know, hey, I don't mean any disrespect, you know, by calling myself the People's Champion. It's just part of my gimmick, you know, blah, blah, blah. And basically, Muhammad Ali, and it was pretty much translated to The Rock, hey, you know, Muhammad loves it. He'd be honored if you continue on. Yeah, go ahead. Keep calling yourself the People's Champion, right? So we get the backstory. I never knew that. If it's been told before, forgive me. New to my ears. But I'll remember it from here on out, right? Because I like trivial stuff like that. But Mrs. Ali is out there to present The Rock with the People's Champion title. Like, she actually has this championship belt that she wants to present to The Rock. Now, remember, we know The Rock is supposed to induct his grandmother, right? Leah Maivia. We know he is supposed to induct her. So now we got The Rock coming out, essentially doing double duty. And yeah, he comes out. I would like to believe this took him by surprise, because if this was rehearsed in any type of way, and the way this segment just came off at this point, it was just off the rails. And then The Rock grabbing the microphone to talk afterwards. It was weird. What was supposed to be about Muhammad Ali soon turned into The Rock. It was really weird. I did not like the way this came off. For me, this was... I don't really know. You know what? I'm just debating on whether or not this was the low point of the night. Was it the low point of the night? For those of you that watch, was it the low point of the night? I don't know. We can all be in agreement. Awkward moment of the night. We can definitely be in agreement of that. Awkward moment of the night. All right, from there we had Thunderbolt Patterson. Oof. New Day setting it up. Great stuff. Oh. Woo! That's all I got to say, man. That's all I got to say. Okay, so look. So Thunderbolt Patterson comes out. He's in a wheelchair. Obviously, this is going to be a wow, especially since Thunderbolt had locked eyes on Gerald Briscoe, and the two of them were embracing one another, exchanging words, and Thunderbolt was debating on whether or not he wanted to walk the rest of the way or chill in his wheelchair. He decided, you know what? I'm going to chill in the wheelchair. It's all good. And smart, very smart move on WWE's part. All right, let's roll some footage. So they rolled a nice compilation of his career. Great touch. Loved it. You came back about 5 minutes later, 7 minutes later, whatever it was. And next thing you know, we got this white dude that's in the ring wearing a tuxedo. And we never get a lower third graphic letting us know who this man is. He never properly introduces himself to us to let us know who the hell he is. He just starts talking about some of Thunderbolt Patterson's career highlights. And it's like, okay, all right, cool. So, yeah, we're having fun in the Discord, by the way. We're going, who is this guy? I'm going, is he the Uber driver? Right? Is he the Uber driver? Is he the taxi driver? Like, who is this guy? Somebody said, no, he's Larry the white guy. Y'all got me dead, man. Y'all got me dead. But leave it to Dan Goes to the Mayor. He summed it up. He was able to find out who this guy was. I'm trying to see if I can find the image screenshot real quick. Some really good pictures too. I love some of the attire that a lot of the wrestlers were wearing. Stephanie comes to mind. Bailey had a really nice dress. I got to tell you, Bailey had a really, really nice dress that was going on. By the way, I love the fact that despite the fact that Brock Lesnar might be involved in some whatever, right? I love that Paul Heyman not once, not twice, but at least 3 to 4 times mentioned Brock Lesnar by name, and that got a nice pop from the crowd. I am still looking for the image where I can find the name of this guy. I want to say it was Scott. Hang on. I almost got the image. If you guys can bear with me here. I should have saved it. Next time I'm going to save it to the phone here, and then we'll be good to go. Yeah. Yep. I'm getting there. Yeah, you just see this weird white guy just standing there, and you're like, what? Thunderbolt can't speak? Like, we just heard him. Like, what the hell is going on here? And the guy's just going on, and we're all just waiting for him to just, like, shut up already. Let Thunder go ahead and do this. And he just kept talking. Good presenter. Honestly, I don't know what the hell he was. I don't know what the hell he was. But apparently he is a radio show host. I got him now. His name is Scott Spears. And apparently he is a radio host in Ohio. And we were just ripping this guy a new, you know what, in the chat, because we were like, who is this guy? Like some dork, and we're like, oh, his name is Scott Spears. Apparently he's a radio host in Ohio. Okay, so he's big on the old school wrestling. But check this out. He joined X/Twitter in 2012. He's following 114 people. And he only has 64 followers. And I'm like, Dan, good job finding that. Because, I mean, as soon as we were asking who is this guy, Dan found this information in, like, I would say 2 minutes tops. Dan is really great when it comes to research. And, we're looking at this and we're like, yo, if all he got is 64 followers, hook us up, right? What we got to do so that we can, be on the podium trying to induct somebody. Because apparently we all doing something wrong. Like, one of my friends only has 2 followers on their account. Like, can we get him to talk on behalf of somebody at the next WWE Hall of Fame ceremony? I mean, can I get an amen? Thunderbolt Patterson. Shades of Mr. T. And that's all I gotta say, man. Shades of Mr. T. This shit was all over the place, man. Kept asking the crowd, can I get an amen? Can I get an amen? And at this point, you're like, dude, it's almost 1 a.m. This crowd is so damn tired, right? They're so damn tired. This crowd's been there since freaking Lord knows, right? Lord only knows, especially if they had to do meet and greets. And they probably had an early day, right? And now we're going into this Hall of Fame ceremony that's getting close to 1 a.m. And we got Thunderbolt Patterson taking them to church. This was... As I said on X, I said our asses got taken to church by that Thunderbolt Patterson sermon, and it ain't even Sunday. Yeah, I know what time it is, sir, because he kept going, do y'all know what I'm talking about? Do y'all know what time it is? Ooh. I'm saying, can I get an amen? And the crowd is just, this Philly crowd, I can't hate on the Philly crowd at this point. Yeah, okay, I could have, in regards to Bull Nakano, okay, for sure. But in this particular case, it's like, yo, this crowd, I don't blame them. I'm right there with them. The only difference is I actually had to go to work and I got to turn right back around Saturday. So it's like, you know, I feel where they're coming from, right? Within reason, right? Oh, this guy, like, he never went into, hey, you know, I just want to take this time out. I want to thank Triple H, Paul Levesque. I want to thank the WWE, you know, for giving me my flowers while I'm still alive. It's nice having my work be recognized. And no, I didn't go in that direction. He was talking about, hey, you know, continue to fight racism, you know, treat others the way you want to be treated, you know, let's stop discrimination. And the Philly crowd was just so damn dead. You just heard a couple of, woo! I was mad at the Philly crowd, but at the same time, I'm like, I get it, guys. I get it, y'all. Y'all tired as I don't know what. I can't hate you guys. But yeah, it just seemed like we were hearing rants of a rambling old man who's trying to hit you up with Jesus. That's how he came off in a nutshell. I know some people had like this. Some people may be able to dissect this and go, well, you see, what my black brother was actually trying to say, what he was trying to communicate to the masses is, okay, you go ahead, you dissect it, you cut it up, you have fun, get back to me. I'll check it out. I'll check out what you got to say. But this was just one of, and he kept going, he kept saying repeatedly, watch out now. Now, it's still the 5th, right? I only got for so much time because, you know, this is 6th. It is around the corner, so I don't want to keep you guys too long. Because it's 6. Can I get an amen? Oh, Lord. This was... All I kept thinking about was Showtime at the Apollo. Anybody that ever watched that show, you know what I'm talking about. But for everybody else that doesn't know, Showtime at the Apollo, was this talent search show. So whatever your act was, you know, you'd introduce yourself, say where you're from, then you go to the middle of the stage and you do your act. So if you were part of a singing group, okay, all right, you're going to get out there. What song are you going to perform? We're going to perform. Okay, all right, cool. And you go out there. Oh, you're a comedian. Okay, all right, well, yeah, go ahead, do your thing. Oh, you're a dancer. Okay, well, go on ahead and you're right, and you would do it. And as long as the crowd was applauding you on, then you were safe. You would definitely go into the final round per se, where at the very end, the crowd would have to pick who the winner is for that week. And they would pick the winner based off the reactions and everything. But, if you were bad, there was this clown called the Sandman that would come out and he'd yoink your ass off the stage. And all due respect to brother Thunderbolt, he came, I ain't gonna even say he came close. I know for my black ass and a few others, we wanted to see the Sandman come on out there and yank him off the stage already. It was what it was. That definitely was that wasn't even a low point moment. That was a what the hell moment right there. It was right up there with Mr. T's infamous WWE Hall of Fame segment. Very long-winded. Very long-winded. Ooh! Whew. Testify. I don't know, man. I think I'm going to start doing some Thunderbolt impressions on the show from here on out, man. I just, because, today is the 6th. And all I kept thinking to myself was, Thunderbolt, it's still the 5th on the West Coast. So, go ahead and I tell you what, hearing his sermon, my black ass wanted to go to church. My wife knows this. I just wanted to go to church, try to get through the sermon. I ain't going to even remember what the hell the sermon was about, right? But 90 minutes, 2 hours later, all I care about is the spread. That's all I care about. Did Miss Lyons make her famous potato salad and pork chops? Ooh, no, Miss Davis didn't make them collard greens. I know she didn't make them collard greens. Oh, no, she didn't. Oh, and Mrs. Harper with the cherry pie. Lord have mercy. Ooh, wee. Lord have mercy. Ooh. Main attraction of the night. Main attraction of the night. Leah Maivia posthumously being inducted by The Rock. Kudos to The Rock, man. Kept it short, sweet, simple. Nice video package that they presented while incorporating Young Rock. I know Young Rock was a series that was very near and dear to Dwayne The Rock Johnson, so that's why they included the footage and all that, because I know some people were asking, wait a minute, didn't Young Rock get canceled? Yes, it did. Now, it's possible it could be picked up by another network. It's very possible. Time will tell. By the way, in case you guys are not aware, they made the announcement a few hours ago. Quantum Leap. I don't know how many of you guys were checking out the new Quantum Leap reboot. NBC axed it after 2 seasons. So I'll talk a lot more about that on Monday, because I do have, not long-winded, but I do have some additional thoughts, because I was a huge fan of the original run with Scott Bakula there. So I'll talk more about that on the Monday show. But anyway, my God, man. I like the fact that The Rock came out there, kept it short, sweet, simple, while also doing some business there with Cody Rhodes, basically selling the tag match that's going to be going down WrestleMania Saturday, and we already know what's going to be going down WrestleMania Sunday. When I say Rock kept it short, sweet, simple, I'm not BSing you guys. Rock probably, my God, what would you say, y'all? Was it even 4 minutes? Was it even 5 minutes of a speech? I mean, he really went out there, bada bing, bada boom, and that pretty much was it. That pretty much was it. So kudos to him. What more can you say about that? I mean, that's the way you do business. That's the way you wrap it up. That's the way you go home, right? Like, what more could potentially be said and all of that? If the last burning image that you want to have in the back of the fans' minds is WrestleMania weekend, WrestleMania night 1 and 2, okay, sure. You want to end it with The Rock, Cody Rhodes stare down? Man, I'm all fine for it. So when it's all said and done, considering the structure, show format that they went with for this ceremony, might have not made a lot of sense at the beginning, but as we watched and got to the end, made a lot of sense. To the polls we go. Again, on X, asked you guys, how would you rate the WWE Hall of Fame ceremony? Sound off. Gave you guys 4 options. Coming in at 7%. Thumbs down. 20%. What the hell? Thunderbolt say. 30% of you felt that the WWE Hall of Fame ceremony was way too damn long. And coming in top dog, 43% of you said thumbs up. Appreciate you guys that voted. So look, our post show might have ran about 55 minutes long, but we saved you all big time on all the stuff in between. As I always say, when it comes to the Hall of Fame post shows that we do for you guys yearly, I do all the dirty work so you guys don't have to. So at this point, I would say if WWE makes it available on their social media feeds, Paul Heyman's induction speech in its entirety, go out of your way, check it out. Otherwise, I would say as far as watching the ceremony, assuming you have a Peacock subscription, then I will say definitely watch the Paul Heyman induction speech. Fast forward until you get to the U.S. Express. I would recommend you definitely watch that. If you want to get an idea of what I was talking about as far as the Muhammad Ali segment and the awkwardness that came from that, how it just went 180, I'll give that an honorable mention. But if you don't really care for that, then honestly, you can just be done after you check out those two highlights I mentioned. It's so funny because Philadelphia, as many people know, you think about the boxing history particularly to come from out of Philly. And the fact that Muhammad Ali barely got a reaction there when the name was being brought up and all of that. You know, you're hearing the golf claps, you're like, man. And my wife said it best, which was, this just shows you where the generation is. You know, they're not students of the past. You know, they're not appreciative of what came before them. Yeah, but as I said to her, like, yeah, but still, this is a Philly crowd. Like, if anybody knows about Muhammad Ali and the history and all of that, like that makes, you guys have no idea, because that makes no sense to me that Muhammad Ali did not get more of a reaction from this Philly crowd. But I bet you if they wheeled out Sylvester Stallone dressed up as Rocky, oh, that's going to get a huge freaking pop. I bet you that's going to get a huge freaking pop. I just shook my head in disbelief seeing that, because it's like, this is, I even said out loud, this is Philly, right? This is Philly. It was just, but look, I'll go with the argument. It's been a long day for them. They were cold. They were tired. They were hungry because they've been held hostage all damn night, all damn day. They want to go home. They want to grab a bite to eat at the hotel or whoever is open, right? Maybe get something at the bar. I feel them. So look, as far as programming notes go, I'll be back live with you all at the conclusion of WrestleMania Saturday night. I'll be live right here with you guys with post-show fallout. So come one, come all. That is going to be loads fun. I may look into seeing if we can bring in a call line for you guys that maybe want to call into the show and sound off about WrestleMania. I'm debating on that. Here's the problem. I remember in the past when we did have the phone line, we would have like 1 to 3 people that would keep calling in. It was so funny. They would keep calling in and hog up the line, stopping other people from calling into the show. I mean, we had some weird people out there, and that's why so I'm debating on it. It's kind of one of those, if I am going to do a phone line, I'm going to make sure that we have a screener, and that way, pretty much one and done, and that way, for sure, we can get different people calling in and everything, but for sure, we're going to do a WrestleMania Saturday post show. Works out great because by the time I get off work, I will be off the clock and WrestleMania will just start. So I'm pretty excited for that. Meantime, be kind, rewind. Check out previous episodes you might have missed on demand and on the downloads wherever you get your podcasts. Just search the RCWR show. You can get at your man on X, Facebook, YouTube. Use the keywords, the RCWR show. Yo, if you enjoyed this, make sure you hit the like button. Hit it for me, especially considering I just saved you guys, I saved you guys almost 3 hours just now. 3 hours from this Hall of Fame ceremony, so you don't have to, right? I do all the dirty work, so you don't have to. But hit the like, helps me out big time. It supercharges the content. It puts more eyeballs on the content, gets us out there to a more wider audience. So do that, and thanks. And until next go around, my pretty babies, I'm wishing all of you all to be safe and most importantly, be kind to one another. I'll see you guys next go around for WrestleMania Saturday night. Take care, y'all. Peace.